Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Today is Friday, January 19th, 2024, and it's snowing outside. This is the second time it snowed this week, so I thought that I'd show you guys around my neighborhood, as well as what the snow day activities look like, including how we clean and remove the snow, what we as residents of this town are responsible for, and what the city does for us as well. So come on with me. Right now we're on the street right in front of my house. It is about like a moderate amount of snow. Just kind of walking around. As you can see, it's very powdery, it's light and fluffy, which means that it's going to take more time for this to melt. But it is nice to walk in. It feels like nice pillows that you're walking on. But if you're not careful, you will slip and fall. As you can see, the trees look really beautiful in the snow. They look like something out of a Christmas or holiday card. You have the snow weighing down the top branches, and because of this, sometimes when you get really heavy amounts of snow, the branches will break and fall. And this can also happen to the power lines that we have. I'll show you those in a little while. They're in the distance over there. Not too sure if it's visible through the camera. Yeah, so one of the things that we have to do is shovel the snow right in front of our houses. As you can see, our neighbor is cleaning the snow right now. And there are two reasons that we have to do this. One is for our own safety, to make sure that as we're walking out of our houses, we don't slip. Sorry for the excessive blinking, the snow has fallen into my eyes. And the second reason is that if anyone walks on the street like right in front of our house and the snow is not clean, if they slip and fall, they can sue us because the damage to their body and person happened on our property, so we would be liable for that. So that is one of the reasons that we are required to shovel the snow directly in front of our house and on the little piece of sidewalk that we have. Directly in front of the house, I mean our driveway and the sidewalk. This street here is also directly in front of my house, but the homeowners association, which all of the people who live here are a part of, they will come and clean that. So yeah, the snow has completely frozen solid on top of the leaves. If I shake it, it's gonna fall off. So yeah, this is very heavy and it's gonna weigh down those branches. If we had an excessive amount of snow, they would bend like this and break. And you'll also see icicles start to form in a little while. It's only been snowing for a few hours. That'll happen pretty soon. It's quite frigid outside. It's not the coldest winter we've ever had, but it's just slightly below freezing. The temperatures this week have been ranging from negative 15 degrees Celsius to about 0. So that is why it's been snowing, and that's why the snow is sticking. Sometimes even when it is slightly below freezing, it'll snow, but the snow won't stick because it's not quite cold enough to maintain the freezing cold conditions of the roads. So let's keep walking and I'll show you what the neighborhood looks like. The things to be careful about, let's pan over here and I'll show you, is it's sometimes difficult to tell where the sidewalk ends and the road begins. So it's very easy for me to be on top of this and just walk normally and totally fall. So that is one thing you have to be careful about. It is visible now, you can kind of tell the difference in the levels, as you can see here. But when it snows a lot heavier and you get up to a foot of snow, this all just blurs into like a singular flat landscape, so people fall all the time. So this street right here is one of the main streets that runs through our neighborhood, and it is cleaned by the Homeowners Association, for short HOA, and that is essentially an organization that consists of all the residents of this neighborhood. Every month we pay a monthly fee specifically for the maintenance and cleaning of the roads, as well as any common shared facilities that we have. So that is who cleans these roads right here. And if you kind of see in the distance there, you see that very clean patch of road. That road does not belong specifically to any community. It's part of the city. So just the taxes that we pay to the city kind of cover the cleaning of those roads. The reason why they're able to clean those so effectively is while they're cleaning, they also pour a chemical salt onto the road, which aids in the breakup of the ice and snow and helps it melt faster. So let's go take a closer look at that. Yeah, it's very difficult for cars to go through. When the snow gets deeper, sometimes cars can get stuck in the snow, just like they can get stuck in sand or mud when it rains too much. And you can see a nice coating of snow around the tires. As you can see, all the cars here in the parking lot that we have are covered in snow. So when the people who own those cars want to drive, they're going to have to clear the snow off. Sometimes people don't do that, and it's very dangerous because as you're driving on the road, the snow on top of the car can fly off and hit the car behind you and block their vision. So that's another thing to be aware of. We've got cars all over here. And yeah, none of the trees have leaves. Well, most of the trees, I should say. We've got bushes over there that have a couple of leaves because those are what are known as evergreens. They stay green regardless of whether it's winter or summer. But most of the larger trees that you see here are maples and oaks, and they only are in full bloom in terms of leaves and the beautiful colors. In the summer and the fall, they'll turn red, yellow. And in the winter, all of the leaves fall off and they're dormant. So the leaves, even though the trees look dead, they're not. They're just lying dormant. They kind of go into hibernation, similar to a lot of animals. And so when it's summertime again, you'll see the leaves show up. Alright, so now we're closer to the main road. And there's a lot of slush happening here. So that's just when the ice starts to melt and it turns into this sludgy mixture that's very gross to look at. This is due to this chemical salts that I described earlier. So that is what's helping all the snow over here melt and on the streets as well. That's the worst part of when it snows, is actually when it melts. It turns into this disgusting sludge, and it's really terrible when you go to school because right now, since it is snowing, all of the schools are closed, so the kids are having fun at home. But when you do have to go back to school, it's very sad because A, you have to walk through all this snow and it's very cold, and B, there's all this gross sludge on the streets, so your shoes get all muddy. Yeah, the snow over here is a bit deeper because no one has tampered with it, and we're on a bit of a slope and incline, so the accumulation is a bit higher. Yeah, you can really see my boot is completely getting sunk into the ground. So you have to walk very intentionally to make sure you don't fall. So we've got a couple of apartments across the street over there, as well as all these townhomes, and all of the roofs are covered in a layer of snow. Normally that's not a problem since we do have slanted roofs here on the East Coast because of the snow, so that when it melts it's going to actually slide off rather than collecting pools of water as it would if it was a flat surface. But sometimes in the summertime, people do have to get repairs to their roofs and the shingles on those roofs because over the winter, if it snows too much, those can get soaked and broken. So there's a lot of repairs that go into owning a home on the East Coast, especially if you live in a snowy area. A lot of the cars are also forming icicles. They're very sharp. They do look beautiful, but the icicles form not only on the cars but also on houses, lamp posts, lights, all kinds of things on the road. So you've got to be very careful when the snow starts to melt and the temperatures are above freezing, because these icicles will break off and fall. They can impale your cars and also you, so be careful. The roads that you're looking at right now are clean because, as I mentioned, those are roads that belong to the city and not any one particular neighborhood. So they look great, they look clean, the chemical salts are doing what they're intended to do. And the snow trucks are coming through regularly every couple hours to make sure that there's not too much accumulation and that people who are driving right now can get to where they need to go. But they do advise against driving, so there's only one car that I can see right now, and the streets are mostly empty. So right now we're actually at my bus stop for my high school. So I used to get on the bus here, and we used to walk through this slight incline hill over here. And when it was snowing, sorry about the cars. We would slip and slide and kind of like carefully make our way down that hill to walk to our houses. But that was a very fun memory. Snow days were great. We would stay up the night before waiting to see if school was canceled or not. And luckily for the kids today, school is canceled. Yeah, I really do love walking around when it's snowing because you get that very wintry feeling of the snowflakes falling on you and just walking around and observing the beauty of nature. Let's see if the snow is packable. Normally, a fun snow day activity that most kids partake in are snowball fights, as well as building a snowman. But unfortunately, this is what's known as dry snow, so it's not. I'm trying very hard to make a snowball right now, and it's just crumbling in my hands. So this is not great snow for most snow day activities. Another common one is sledding. It's kind of like falling, except you do it on purpose. You sit on a piece of plastic, or they have specific sleds, and you just go down any small or steep incline based on how brave you are. I've done it a couple of times in the past, and it is a lot of fun, but again, if you were to slide in this snow, you're just going to get buried in it, so I would recommend against it for this particular snowfall. Those are the snow shoveling trucks that come through the city and local neighborhood roads. Right now they're on the city roads. The city pays for that. We're not responsible for the maintenance of this roads, at least not directly. And these are also the same trucks that are going to come into our neighborhood, except we pay the HOA, which then pays these people to come and shovel our roads for us. Alright, this is kind of how we shovel the snow in front of our house. My dad is doing it right now, but basically we have to make sure that our little patch of cement that leads up to our front entrance is clean. And then similar to how our neighbor did it, we have to make sure that whole rectangular part of our driveway is clean. And then kind of, you can see the footsteps slightly over there, but we have to make sure that those 3 squares of sidewalk are clean since that's directly in front of our house. But beyond the light post there, kind of onto the street, which is right over there, we do not have to clean that because the HOA has paid people to come and clean it for us. Oh, in the distance you can see a snowman that I made 2 days ago. He is still intact. You can see his carrot nose. It's kind of become black from the cold though, but you know, he has survived. I'll give you a closer look at that once all of this is clean, but it is a tiresome and grueling process because even though snow is fun and fluffy, once you gather a lot of it, it is very, very heavy since it's essentially just water. It's just frozen water. So a shovel full of snow is equivalent to a shovel full of water, and it is quite heavy and takes a lot of time and effort to clean, but on the other hand, it is a great workout. So let me give you a closer look at that. So when you're shoveling, you're going to have some residue left behind. It's going to freeze and form layers if not cleaned properly. So it's important to make sure that you do the best job you can with that. So yeah, it's very heavy and difficult to move, as you can see. So yeah, we end up just putting the snow from the driveway onto our patch of grass that we have here with the lamppost in the middle. That's going to take a lot of time to melt. It's going to take a couple of weeks. We've got some salt pouring going on. Yep, some people over there have also started the process of cleaning their driveway. It's you're going to see a lot of this throughout the day. So like I was mentioning, you have to make sure to scrape that residue off so that it doesn't form the icy layer and that when you walk out you don't slip, and also that other people visiting don't slip. But yeah, you want to make sure that it's clean and mostly just the cement underneath. But it is quite beautiful, isn't it? Alright, so as you can see, we've cleared the snow on the driveway and it's melted a good amount. But these roads are still not shoveled, and we've just got the snow truck that came, and he is currently shoveling it. So this is kind of what it looks like. So that's what one strip of shoveled snow on the road looks like. Again, as I mentioned, this is covered by the HOA, and they've paid for these private snow truck drivers to come and do this. So that is currently what is happening. So he's going all the way down to the bottom of the street and then is shoveling it. They push it all up against the edge of the street so that the snow is not in anyone's way. Then they reverse back towards the end of the street and repeat, and they'll do this on every street in our neighborhood until it is completely shoveled and clean. So yeah, they do it in strips to make sure that they're able to get all that snow. Usually it takes about 3 to 4 passes. I think he might stop at 3. We'll have to see. It's essentially just a normal pickup truck. They attach this shovel-like attachment to the front. They tie it on, and then he's able to adjust it, move it like you just saw, and do the cleaning. Oh no, my snowman is like buried. You can still see the carrot though. The snow is still falling. You can see a bit of it here on the lens. But I doubt that we're gonna get much more accumulation. And yeah, he's off to shovel the next road. Thanks, snow truck driver. Yep, and this is the result of the shoveled snow. As you can see, there's a massive pile of it just over here on the side of the road, and my snowman is now buried. Half buried. It's alright, he's still kind of there. It's more like a snow blob, not a snowman. But yeah, that's essentially what the roads look like. There's still a lot of this stuff on the snow, on the street, and it's very slippery. So once this freezes over tonight, it's not going to be fun to walk on tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of how they do the snow shoveling here.